Hi guys, and we're here at the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad Visitor Center. Told you I would be here. And it says, "Welcome to Harriet's house. Take your experience further, become a junior ranger. Ask a member of Team Tubman." And here is some little artifacts about Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad byway. Driving tour map. Oh, it gives you the actual Underground Railroad tour, if you can see that. Harriet Tubman's Underground Railroad byway. So it came up through Cambridge. So you went Long Wharf, Harriet Tubman Museum, Stanley Institute, Church Creek, Malone's Church. Going up 16404. Tucano Neck Meeting House, Greensboro, Bridges, Jacob Jackson's home site, location of Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad National Park. This is all the areas where Harriet Tubman, that has Harriet Tubman artifacts, interests, places that she was able to get the people to. Through the railroad. Explore the scenic byway, follow the path to freedom, and discover Harriet Tubman's rich history. As you can see there. Then you got the Harriet Tubman Railroad Visitor Center, and that's all the information about it. I'll be picking up some stuff, so if anybody's interested or any of the kids want to do maybe some type of informational thing, I'll have the information here. So, discover the extraordinary life and legacy of Harriet Tubman in the landscape of her childhood and early adult life. Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge. This is around the Harriet Tubman area as well. And then the Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge is one of over 560 national wildlife refuges, provides critical habitats for native plants and wildlife. And this is the actual museum. Somebody took it upon themselves to build this museum for Harriet Tubman. And we are in Cabin Creek is where it is. I can't remember if I told you exactly right when I was leaving to head to Maryland on Friday where it's going to be. But it is here in Cabin Creek. And that's where we are right now, is where the museum is. They called us yet? They called us in to sit? Oh, I thought she said a video started. So the eastern shore of Maryland, Dorchester County is where I was born. Harriet Tubman, 1905. Who is Harriet Tubman? Courageous, clever, and charismatic. Harriet Tubman overcame the brutality of slavery on the eastern shore of Maryland to gain freedom for herself and others. A lifelong humanitarian, Tubman worked tirelessly towards a dignified life for all. Explore her journey. This is the museum. Welcome. Yeah, this is the theater. So there's other things to see. Okay. So here we are, guys, walking through the archives of Harriet Tubman. These are the clothes that people wore as they were coming through, getting through past slavery. There's Harriet sitting there waiting to help free the slaves. The midnight sky and silent stars have been the witnesses of your devotion of freedom and your heroism. Follow the arrow. Okay, so I'm told I'm going in the wrong
You
era.
want me to come sit down with you?
Okay, so now here's the wall of different people of the slavery times. Slavery is the next thing to hell. If a person would send another into bondage, he would send him to hell if he could. Harriet Tubman, 1955. Tubman grew up in a world of contrast, experiencing both the natural beauty of Choptank River region and the horrors of slavery. The sounds you are hearing reflect the rhythm of life that shaped Tubman's childhood. I think I saw that. Grew up a neglected weed, ignorant of liberty, having no experience of it, then I was happy or then I was not happy or content. Harriet Tubman, 1985.
Yes, baby. That's the kind of bed that they have to sleep in. Different kind of bed.
I never met any person of any color who had more confidence in the voice of God as spoken direct to her soul, and her faith in supreme power truly was great. Thomas Garrett, 1868. Tubman had an intimate and personal connection with God. She talked with him as a man talketh with his friend. I used to sleep on the floor and cry if I could only get home and get in my mother's bed. Harriet Tubman, 1905. Where I came from, it would make your flesh creep and your hair stand on end to know what they do to the slaves. Injured, lonely, sick, and starving, young Tubman did not live with her family. At 6 years old, Borders hid her away, and her parents were powerless to stop him. She grew up having temporary masters who required perfection, often terrorized her. Trap muskrats. Every time I saw a white man, I was afraid of being carried away. I had two sisters carried away in a chain gang. One of them left two children. They were always uneasy. Her early 20s, Minnie Ross married a free man, John Tubman, and changed her name to Harriet Tubman. So her original name was Mintie Ross. The Ross family was ripped apart in 1825 when Maria Ritty was sold to a slave trader from Mississippi. By 1845, Tubman's older sisters, Lina and Soph, were also sold. She never saw them again. Rogers sold the Rosses' three eldest daughters to ease his debt. Traumatized, Tubman was plagued by visions of the horsemen coming. The screams of women, children as they were being dragged away haunted her. First thing I remember was lying in the cradle. Where the arrow go next, Victoria?
There's an art gallery back here,
Oh, you go back there to the art
and
gallery?
then you can come back out this way. Huh? What'd you say? You want
1963. This is for all of you that may never get to see the Harriet Tubman Museum. I'm
One,
just giving you some insight on it.
Gently, they bring it safely to cabin, marveling at
That's
Tubman's
her
continued
trying to help
success. Underground
free
Railroad agent
slaves.
Thomas Garrett wrote, Tubman seems to have had a special angel to guard her on her
I
journey of
pray
mercy.
God to make me strong and able to fight, and that's what I've already prayed. I've always prayed for ever since. I would make home in the north and bring them there. God helping me. And we've been inspiring speaker audience were thrilled to hear what Harriet Tubman had to say. Her doors were kept open to most friendless and helpless. All found not shelter alone, but welcome. Harriet Tubman was a unique and great character of which any race and age should be proud. And guess what? Coming soon, Harriet Tubman's going to be on the $20 bill. She's already on the 32-cent stamp. And somebody made a 1944, the SS Harriet Tubman was the first World War II U.S. Liberty ship named for a black woman. It was christened by Tubman's great niece, Eva Stewart Northrop. He set the North Star in the heavens. He gave me the strength in my limbs. He meant I should be free. Harriet Tubman to Admiral Dow Cheney, 1859. After I got amongst the abolitionists, I was almost scared. I was afraid of a trick. When arrived in Philadelphia, Tubman's brothers changed their names. Henry Ross above became William Henry Stewart. His brother became John, and Ben became James Stewart. They settled safely in St. Catharines, Ontario, and later in Auburn, New York. I know of no one who has willingly encountered more perils and hardships to serve our enslaved people. Frederick Douglass in a letter about Harriet Tubman to Sarah Bradford, 68. Henry Highland Garner also liberated himself from slavery in Maryland. An abolitionist and minister, he enthusiastically encouraged enslaved blacks to rise up against their enslavers. Explore the stories from brave enslaved people from Maryland who, like Harriet Tubman, made a difficult journey to freedom. Harriet was a woman of no pretension. Indeed, a more ordinary specimen of humanity could hardly be found, yet in point of courage, shrewdness, and disinterested exertions to rescue her fellow men by making personal visits to Maryland among the slaves, she was without her equal. William Steele, as said of Tubman in the Underground Railroad, 1871. Who did Harriet admire and rely on her fight against slavery? Tubman admired and relied on her fight against slavery. So she had Lucretia Coffin Mott, Reverend Samuel Green, East Newmarket, Maryland, Sidney Gray, New York, Anna Murray Douglas, Rochester, New York, Thomas Garrett, Wilmington, Delaware, William Steele, Philadelphia, and Martha Coffin Wright, Auburn, New York. Dozens of people, women, black and white, helped Tubman along the Underground Railroad. Here are just a few of Tubman's closest and most valuable associates. Tubman's network. A courageous and brilliant leader, Tubman successfully coordinated missions from Maryland and Delaware to
In
Pennsylvania,
late
New York, and
fall
Ontario.
1856, Tubman traveled to rescue her enslaved sister
You will be
Rachel
glad
and
to
Rachel's
know
son
that the
Shane.
number escaping from
As she was
slavery has
born,
latterly
her
been
imagination
unusually
speeded through
large. We
life.
have passed over a section
Rachel's
of
master
Underground Railroad, about
separated
40
her from her
within
children
the last
as she
60 days.
disappeared for a year. In order to make use of Rachel, Tubman gathered another group of freedom seekers, Joe and Bill Bailey, Peter Pennington, and Eliza Minneke. However, this race to freedom in Canada will be one of Tubman's most dangerous missions. Extraordinary rewards were offered for the return of the runaways. $1,500 for Joe Baker
I crossed the line, I was free, but there was no one to welcome me to the land of freedom. I was a stranger in a strange land of my home. After all was down in Maryland, because my father, my mother, my brothers and sisters and friends were there. But I was free, and they should be free. I would make a home in the north and bring them there. God helping me, oh, how I prayed then. I said to the Lord, I'm going to hold steady on you, and I know you'll see me through. Harriet Tubman, 1968.
outpaced by the advertisements for their capture.
We are free because of Harriet Tubman.
For most of the journey,
Tilly, Josiah Bailey,
slave catchers
William Bailey, Peter Pennington, Eliza Monarchy, Harriet Ritt Green Ross,
hidden root cellars, and
Harriet Ritt Stewart, Mother Benjamin Ross, alias Benjamin Stewart, Father Stephen Annals, Mary Annals, Mary Annals,
to try to
Amanda Annals, Baby Annals, John,
multiple times.
unknown dates, Margaret Stewart, Anne-Marie Stewart, unidentified twin girl, Mary Hollis, and these are free because of Harriet Tubman. We are free because of Harriet Tubman. These are the slaves she freed.
They were at the outskirts
There's
of
some more slaves she freed. We are free because of Harriet Tubman.
3 or 4 days. When they finally arrived at the wall,
We are free because of Harriet Tubman. Some more slaves we have here free.
on the lookout for the freedom seekers. With great difficulty, they got word to Underground Railroad agent Thomas Garrett.
We are much pleased that Harriet succeeded in assisting even a few of her suffering friends to escape from bondage, but her sister was not among the number.
And concealed them in a secret compartment in the wagon.
And help for your
After
sister.
nightfall, the bricklayers crossed the bridge, singing,
Here's what they had.
to create a distraction.
I will sell at Negro for sale. I will sell at public sale to the highest bidder for cash at the courthouse door in town of Cambridge on Monday, the 10th day of September next.
As they crossed the bridge,
A Negro named Keziah, age about 25. She will be sold for life, and a good title will be given. Attendance given by John Mills, agent for Elizabeth Broadus.
once they reached the Canadian side of the bridge, Tubman shouted, "Joe, you're free!"
Tubman risked everything to rescue her family. Throughout 1850, she returned at least a dozen times to liberate about 70 family and friends. She was never caught. Harriet Tubman's rescue missions. I saw that all the slaves she freed.
When Tubman returned
Yeah, but did you see the last name?
for her sister Rachel,
Um,
Oh, it's not on this.
yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
ask
here
you.
it is.
unable
See, Jackson,
Ben Jackson.
Conaway,
with the Ennis Stephen
Pennington.
along with
Oh, you seeing the last
Annals,
names?
names that I've heard y'all say.
Annals, yeah.
as well as 2 others toward Wilmington.
These are the slaves that she freed, though.
Yeah, I'm saying that they're the ancestors of some of the
Of
people
the
that you
people
know.
she freed. Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
you know.
Yeah. Ben Jackson, Coleman, Hopkins, Conway. All those I know.
That's what I'm
Last
saying.
names.
That's what struck me when I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And they think this group here
Had been caught and jailed,
were
chased out
Cornishes.
Oh,
which is
yeah?
your
My
mama.
mom's group. Oh, yeah? How they know, think they were Cornishes? They got them unidentified.
They have them identified here. It was a group of 30 that left together. That she helped
Name
point
called
the
brother and a
way.
wife of brother.
Yeah. That's what they put here, but in my researching,
You found some names for them?
Cornish.
Oh.
So I don't know for a fact if they're related.
My mom's last name was Cornish.
And there was also
get to the North Star in the heavens, he gave me the strength in my limbs, who meant I should be free.
Making it difficult for Tubman and her charges to continue.
The movie started yet? The movie started yet? She said it should start in 30 minutes.
Quiet, so it's crying but not explosive. Eventually,
Okay, guys. This is the end of the museum.
finally, they realized he was giving them instructions.
And as you can see, the underground varied from region to region and not all led north. Each route featured its own system of black and white supporters. During her rescue mission, Harriet Tubman utilized a very specific network of people and places from the eastern shore of Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New York, and Canada. So these are all her areas of point of contact. You can see it's a pretty wide region, areas that she had set up, places she could route people to go to get free.
When they ran away, they had to create fake names.
Tubman's northern route. That's Tubman's northern route up to Canada. She sent them up there. And then this is her southern route, which she freed them up into Delaware. And as you can see, Seaford right there is the town about 12 miles away from where I lived in Hurlock. There's a town called Woodford, my maiden name. But this is the free area here. So she would get them into Seaford, into Delaware, where Delaware was a free state, and then they could go and network with different places up in Pennsylvania, Baltimore, to get themselves established. Cambridge. This is where they could establish themselves once they got free. So anyway, guys, this is it. And we're all visiting. This is Victoria and Aria. This is my Auntie Mary and my mommy. And they're here visiting. And my Uncle Mark is here taking pictures. He's a photographer. So this is the reason why we're here today, because he wanted to come to see the museum. This is his first time being here. So we are here looking at the museum. And then in a few minutes, we will be going down to Cambridge to have Aria's birthday party. So I'll see you guys later. 1840, half of the black community in Dorchester County was free because of Harriet Tubman. In 1840, half of the black community in Dorchester County was free. Living, working, and praying together, free and enslaved blacks built close-knit communities on the eastern shore. Tubman relied on these caring relationships to hold on to humanity in the face of slavery.